Hey everyone, welcome back to Go English, and welcome to day 10 of our 30 days to build your English identity. I'm Mizu.
And I'm Lucas. It's so good to have you back. How's everyone doing today? Ready for another little English conversation?
If you've been learning with us since day 1, first of all, thank you for sticking with us.
Seriously, we've already spent the last 9 days talking about ourselves. Who we are, where we're from, our routines, our personalities. All those little pieces that help build your English identity.
But today, things start to change a little, because in real life, people don't just introduce themselves forever. Sooner or later, they start telling stories.
Exactly. Stories about things that happened, funny moments, embarrassing moments, unexpected moments. The kind of experiences you still remember years later. Hey, Mizu, can I ask you something kind of random?
Uh-oh. Whenever you start with, "Can I ask you something?" I get a little nervous. What's up?
What's one moment from your life that you still remember really clearly? Like, if I asked you right now, what pops into your head first?
Thinking. That's actually harder than I expected, because I've had so many experiences, but my brain immediately goes to one really small moment.
Really? Not something huge?
No, that's the funny thing. It wasn't a birthday, it wasn't graduation, it wasn't even a holiday. It was just one afternoon.
See, that's exactly what I mean. It's so weird. I can't even remember what I had for lunch 3 days ago.
Same.
But somehow I can remember one random afternoon from years ago. How does that even work?
I don't know. Maybe memories don't choose us. Maybe our feelings choose them.
Whoa, I like that.
Think about it. 5 people can go on exactly the same trip, and afterward, they all tell completely different stories.
Oh, absolutely. One person remembers the food, another remembers getting lost, someone else remembers meeting a stranger.
Exactly. The trip is the same, but the memory isn't.
You know what I still remember? The first time I got completely lost while traveling.
Lucas, I'm honestly not surprised.
Hey, I have a terrible sense of direction.
You really do.
Thanks for the support.
Anytime.
But that's what makes stories interesting. They're personal.
Exactly. A memorable experience doesn't have to be exciting for everyone. It just has to mean something to you.
And that's exactly what we are going to explore today. Not how to give a perfect speech, but how to tell a real story, the way people actually do in everyday conversations.
So if this is your first time here, welcome. You can always start from day 1 using the playlist linked below, because every lesson builds on the one before it.
And if you've been with us since the beginning, you're going to notice something new from today. We're not just building your English identity by talking about yourself anymore. We're building it by sharing the stories that make you who you are.
So, grab your coffee, get comfortable, and let's start with one unforgettable memory.
Before we learn any new expressions, let's not think about English for a minute.
Yeah, let's start with the memory first. The English can wait.
So, if you're somewhere quiet, close your eyes for just a few seconds.
Or don't. Just don't close them if you're driving.
Good point. Please keep your eyes open if you're driving.
Okay.
Now, think about one moment that still feels really clear. Maybe it makes you smile. Maybe it makes you laugh. Maybe it still gives you butterflies. Or maybe it makes you a little emotional.
Don't spend 5 minutes looking for the perfect story. Honestly, the first memory that comes into your mind is usually the best one.
Now, don't tell us anything yet. Just picture it, almost like you're watching a movie.
Where are you? Inside? Outside? At school? At home? Somewhere you've never been before?
Look around in your memory. What do you see? Bright lights? Trees? The ocean? A classroom?
Can you hear anything? People talking? Music? Rain? Laughter?
Who's there with you? A friend? Your family? Someone you haven't seen in years?
And what's the very first feeling that comes back? Excitement? Nervousness? Relief? Embarrassment?
Here's one more. If someone took a photo at that exact moment, what would it look like?
That's a good one.
Because once you can see the memory, telling the story becomes much easier. You won't feel like you're trying to invent English. You'll just be describing something that's already there.
Okay, I'll go first.
Yay! Story time!
A few years ago, a couple of my friends invited me to go camping for the weekend. I'd never really gone camping before, but I thought, how hard can it be? So I packed a bag, grabbed some snacks, and we drove out to this beautiful campsite in the mountains. The weather was perfect, the sky was blue. We spent the afternoon hiking, taking pictures, and making dinner over the campfire. Honestly, everything was going exactly as planned. Then, completely out of nowhere, it started raining. And I don't mean a little rain, I mean really raining. Within a few minutes, we were all running back to the tent.
Oh no!
Yeah, we couldn't cook anymore, we couldn't sit outside, everything got wet.
Seriously?
Yep. So we all squeezed into one tiny tent. There wasn't much to do. At first I thought, well, this trip is ruined. But then something funny happened. Instead of complaining, we started telling stories. Someone found a deck of cards. Another friend shared snacks he'd been secretly saving. We laughed so hard that my stomach actually hurt.
Oh, I love that.
By the time the rain finally stopped, it was already late at night. We stepped outside, and the sky was completely clear. There were more stars than I'd ever seen before. I just stood there for a minute, looking up. And I remember thinking, if it hadn't rained, we probably would have missed this moment.
Wow, I wasn't expecting that ending.
Neither was I.
So the rain actually made the trip better?
It really did. Since then, I've stopped expecting every plan to go perfectly. Sometimes the best part of a memory is the part you never planned.
You know what I noticed, Lucas? Your story wasn't difficult. You didn't use any big words.
Yeah. I don't really think about vocabulary when I'm telling a story.
Exactly. You just connected simple ideas together. That's what made it easy to follow.
Right. Most stories start by helping people step into the moment. I might say, a few years ago, or last summer, or maybe when I was in college.
I say one day all the time.
You actually do.
I know. It's simple, but it works.
Or during my vacation. Immediately your listener knows we're starting somewhere.
Then you need something to get the story moving, like, it all started when
Or at first.
everything was going well. I like that one because you already know something's about to happen.
Exactly. The second someone says everything was going well, I'm like, oh, what happened?
Same.
Then comes my favorite part, the surprise.
The plot twist.
Exactly. Suddenly.
Out of nowhere.
Then something unexpected happened.
Or my favorite, I didn't see that coming.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Because that's how life feels sometimes. You don't plan the memorable part, it just happens.
And after that, the story needs to keep moving, so you naturally say things like, so I...
After that,
Luckily,
in the end,
none of these are fancy. They're just little bridges between ideas.
yeah, without those bridges, stories can feel choppy.
Something else I noticed, people usually don't remember every detail. They remember how they felt.
Exactly. Maybe at first you were excited, then you got nervous, and finally you felt relieved.
Or embarrassed.
You've had plenty of those moments.
Way too many.
And when your story's almost finished, you can wrap it up naturally, like, since then,
Now I always.
looking back,
Or simply, I'll never forget that day.
those little endings make your story feel complete instead of just stopping.
Ooh, can we talk about something people forget?
Listener reactions?
Exactly. When someone tells you a story, don't just stare at them.
Please don't. That gets awkward really fast.
Imagine I say, I got completely lost.
No way!
My phone battery died.
Oh no, what happened next?
I walked around for almost an hour
Seriously?
before another hiking group found me.
That's crazy. Are you okay?
I'm okay now.
See? Those tiny reactions keep the conversation alive. They show you're listening, not just waiting for your turn to speak.
Okay, Mizu, let's pretend we're having coffee together.
Which, honestly, is exactly what this feels like.
True. Now, imagine I ask you, so, tell me about a memorable experience. You probably wouldn't jump right into the exciting part.
No, I'd probably set the scene first. Otherwise, you'd have no idea what's going on.
Exactly. You might say, last winter, my family and I were visiting Japan. Boom, I'm already there with you.
Right. You don't need a long introduction, just enough for your listener to picture the moment.
Then, something changes, because that's what makes people lean in.
Exactly. Maybe suddenly we realize we'd missed the last train.
Ooh, that would definitely get my attention.
Or, out of nowhere, it started snowing.
See? Now I'm curious. I want to know what happened next.
Then comes your part. What did you actually do?
Did you panic? Did you laugh? Did someone help you? Did you figure it out yourself?
Stories keep moving because people make decisions, even small ones.
Exactly. Maybe, so we called a taxi. Or, luckily, a local helped us.
Or, finally, we found our way back.
Then comes something people often skip.
Your feelings.
Not just one feeling, because real life doesn't work like that.
Exactly. Maybe at first you were excited, then you got nervous, and by the end you felt relieved.
When your emotions change, your listener naturally follows the journey with you.
And finally, don't just stop after saying what happened.
Yeah, take one more step.
Maybe you learned something, maybe you changed your mind about something, maybe now you do things differently.
That's why endings like since then or looking back feel so natural.
They give the story a little meaning without making it sound like a life lesson.
You know, we've talked about how to build a story, but there's one more thing that can make a really big difference.
Yeah, sometimes your story is already good. It just needs a few small upgrades. Not a completely different story, just a better way to tell it.
Exactly. The ideas stay the same. You're simply making them sound more vivid and more interesting to listen to.
Let's show you what we mean.
Can I try something?
Always. Let's level up a few simple sentences.
All right, here's the first one. I was happy.
Nothing wrong with that. But if you want people to feel your story, you could say, I was so excited, or I was absolutely thrilled.
Ooh, yeah. That tells me a lot more than just happy.
Exactly. You're not using harder English, you're choosing words that paint a clearer picture.
Okay, what about I was scared?
You could say, I was really nervous, or I was terrified.
Ooh, terrified is a whole different feeling.
Exactly. I can almost see the expression on your face.
All right, last one. Then it started raining.
That's a good sentence, but let's make the moment feel a little more dramatic. You could say, then it suddenly started pouring, or out of nowhere it started raining.
Ooh, I like out of nowhere. Now it feels like something unexpected happened.
Exactly. You're helping people imagine the scene, not just understand the words.
And once you've got those stronger sentences, that's when little connectors can make the story flow even better. Like, suddenly, before I knew it, or a few minutes later.
And when you're finishing the story, you might say, in the end, or eventually.
See? We're not changing the story.
Or just making it more vivid and easier to follow.
A few small upgrades?
Can make even an everyday story sound much more memorable.
You know, Mizu, can I tell you something I've noticed?
Sure.
Whenever people say, I don't know what to talk about in English, I don't think that's actually the problem.
Then what is?
I think they're worried their story isn't interesting enough.
Oh, yeah. I've heard that a lot. People say, nothing exciting has ever happened to me.
Exactly. But here's the funny part. I don't remember my friends because they tell amazing stories. I remember them because they tell stories that sound like them.
I love that.
Seriously, one of my friends can spend 5 minutes talking about buying a sandwich, and somehow it's hilarious.
That's actually a talent.
It is. The sandwich isn't interesting. He is.
That's such a good reminder, because two people can live through the exact same moment and tell it in completely different ways.
Exactly.
People remember feelings. They remember what mattered to you, not what they would have noticed.
That's why your English shouldn't sound exactly like mine.
Or mine. Your memories, your reactions, the little details you choose, that's what makes people think, oh, this sounds like you.
And that's really what we're building in this series. Not perfect English, your English.
So don't chase the perfect story. Tell the one that's real, because no one else can tell it the way you can.
All right. We've learned a lot today.
Now comes the most important part. Actually opening your mouth and speaking.
Exactly. Because watching a lesson isn't what builds confidence. Speaking does.
And don't worry, we're going to do this together. No pressure, no perfect answers, just speak. One sentence at a time.
Let's start with something easy. Just listen and repeat after me. Don't think too much. Just copy the rhythm. Ready?
And if you miss a word, that's completely okay. Just jump back in on the next one. All right, let's go.
A few years ago, everything was going well. Suddenly, I couldn't believe it. Luckily, since then, I'll never forget that day.
Nice. See, you don't have to sound exactly like us. The goal is simply to get comfortable speaking English out loud.
Part 2. Fill the gap. All right, now let's make it a little more personal. Instead of repeating our words, you're going to finish the sentence yourself.
Don't overthink it. Whatever comes to your mind first, say it. That's how real conversations work.
A few years ago, It all started when... Then something unexpected happened. At first, I felt... Looking back... See? You're already creating your own story.
And that's exactly what we want. Not our English, your English.
Okay, ready for a real conversation?
Let's pretend we're all sitting in the same coffee shop. You're joining us too.
I'll ask Mizu first, then it'll be your turn to answer out loud before she does. Sound good? So, what's a memory you'll probably never forget?
Mine? Probably the first time I saw snow with my grandparents. I still think about that day.
Really? What made it so special?
Honestly, it wasn't the snow. It was seeing my grandparents smiling like little kids.
Ah, that's such a sweet memory.
Okay, my turn. Lucas, what's one experience that changed the way you think?
Getting lost while hiking. It taught me that staying calm solves more problems than panicking.
I love that lesson.
Now it's your turn. Answer one or answer both. Just imagine you're sitting here chatting with us.
All right, ready for one last challenge?
This one's my favorite, because now you're not just making sentences, you're thinking like a storyteller.
Exactly. We'll tell a short story, then you tell it back using your own words, not ours.
Last weekend, I went hiking with 2 friends. Everything was going well until we took the wrong trail. We were lost for almost an hour. Luckily, another group helped us. I was nervous at first, but afterward I felt proud because everyone stayed calm.
All right, take a second. What happened? Tell us the story in your own English.
See? You don't need the exact same words. If you kept the main idea, you did it.
Okay, my turn. A few months ago, I baked a cake for my family. Everything looked perfect until I realized I'd forgotten to add the sugar. We all laughed, and somehow everyone still ate it. Now I always double-check the ingredients before I start baking.
Wait, they actually finished the cake?
They were being very kind, or maybe they were just really hungry.
Fair enough.
All right, now you tell my story back in your own words.
And here's the cool part. When you can retell someone else's story, you're not translating anymore. You're thinking in English.
And that's exactly what this whole 30-day journey is about. Little by little, you're building your own English identity.
Nice work, everyone. If you've been speaking along with us, you've already told quite a few stories today.
And now, let's show you what everything sounds like when it all comes together. Not a perfect story, just a natural one.
As you listen, don't worry about catching every single word. Instead, notice how the story flows, how it begins, how it moves from one event to the next, and how it ends with a personal thought.
Ready? I'll go first. When I was in middle school, I decided to join the school music club. The problem was, I'd never played an instrument before. Everyone else seemed to know exactly what they were doing, and honestly, I felt a little out of place. For the first few weeks, I made mistake after mistake. Sometimes I wanted to quit, but one of the older students kept encouraging me to keep practicing. Little by little, things started getting easier. By the end of the year, I was able to perform in front of the whole school. Was I the best musician? Definitely not. But I was proud because I didn't give up. Since then, whenever I try something new, I remind myself that being a beginner is completely okay.
I really like that. It's not even about music. It's about believing in yourself.
Exactly. Sometimes the lesson stays with you much longer than the experience itself.
Here's mine. Last summer, I decided to spend a weekend without checking my phone. At first, it felt impossible. I kept reaching into my pocket without even thinking about it. So instead, I went for long walks, read a book I'd been putting off, and even cooked dinner without watching videos at the same time. By the second day, something surprising happened. My mind felt quieter. I wasn't thinking about notifications anymore. I was just enjoying what I was doing. Now, I still use my phone every day, of course, but every once in a while, I take a break from it. It reminds me that slowing down isn't a waste of time. Sometimes it's exactly what we need.
Okay, I have one important question.
Uh-oh, go ahead.
Be honest. How many times did you secretly check your phone?
Twice. Maybe 3 times.
I knew it!
Hey, progress, not perfection.
Did you notice something? Neither of us used difficult English.
Most of the sentences were actually pretty simple. What made the stories interesting wasn't the grammar, it was the order of ideas, the small details, and the feelings we shared.
And that's exactly what we hope you'll do too. Tell your story, in your own English, because that's how you build confidence.
And little by little, that's how you build your English identity. All right, before we go, we've got one challenge for you.
Pick one memorable experience from your life and talk about it for 1 full minute.
No notes, no script.
Don't stop every few seconds to think of the perfect word.
Don't panic if a word disappears. Explain it another way. Use different words. Keep going. That's exactly how real conversations sound like.
Nobody speaks perfectly all the time, not even native speakers. We pause, we rephrase, we laugh, we keep talking.
And that's what we want you to practice. Not perfect English, but real communication.
Every memory you share lets people know you a little better.
And every story you tell helps your English sound more like you.
Bye for now.
Your English journey doesn't end here. Click on the next video and keep learning with us. We've carefully selected it to help you build more confidence, more fluency, and more real